the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and the OnePlus 6. Two smartphones separated by features, ecosystems, at about $500. But how wide is the gulf between them? Really? Not as wide as you might think.
Okay, first of all, let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. OnePlus still hasn't built a version of its phone for Sprint or Verizon, so at the risk of losing your eyeballs less than a minute into the video, if you're on either of those carriers, you can count the OnePlus 6 right out. And then there's the other obvious bit. If you don't buy the Note, you don't get the thing that makes it a Note, the S Pen, and all the nice features that go with it. I go into most of these in the full Galaxy Note 9 review, folks, so go check that out for specifics. And it's not at all my intention to dismiss the S Pen like so many people do. I love this thing. You're probably tired of hearing it, but I use the S Pen to renew my lease every year. I use it as a mouse to control the software. Now I can use it as a camera remote. So if you want all the toys, the Galaxy Note is still your play. But there's a tendency this year to overstate the price gap by implying that the Note 9 and OnePlus 6 basically give you the same experience, and that's just not true. Take the Note 9's display. It's much brighter in direct sunlight, and it's also larger, with higher resolution and better color accuracy to boot. The Note also has a proper ingress protection rating, meaning it survived dust and water resistance testing in a lab. The furthest OnePlus will go on the record is to say that its phone should survive similar exposure, but apparently it didn't want to pay for the lab testing to certify that, so we have to take the company at its word. Also, the Note 9 packs a 21% larger battery. At the end of a busy day, I reliably have 20 to 30% more battery left in the Note than I do the OnePlus. And then there's the little niceties, the incidental conveniences you get from Samsung's approach of throwing the whole kitchen sink at the phone. If I want to top up throughout the day with my Note and I'm a wireless charging fan, which I am, I can top up at Starbucks, or at the airport, or at home. Not so much the OnePlus. The Note 9 has incredible speakers that sing out from both sides of the phone, while the OnePlus makes do with a single bottom port. And if you're someone who values hardware potential, well, actually it's a little surprising how close these two get on the spec sheet. But with an improved cooling system, removable storage, and far more elaborate features, if not raw specs, on its cameras, Samsung is the winner here as well. I'll show you some side-by-side camera samples as a way of pivoting to answer the question that at this point must be on the tips of some of your tongues. Given Samsung's superiority on paper, why would anyone settle for the OnePlus? Well, the answer begins to make itself apparent as you take these samples in. Sure, the Samsung phone sometimes delivers the superior result, but not always. In fact, to my eye, not even most of the time. And even when the Note gives you the better photo, is it really $500 better? I'll put it this way. I literally make my living shooting photos and video, mostly on smartphones these days. And if you told me I had to trade in my Note 9 camera for the OnePlus 6's, I'd be over it in about 30 seconds. Again, Samsung does bring more, like super slow motion, and a great telephoto camera, and higher resolution selfie video, which I'll show you at the end. But for the price difference, I really don't think most users will care. Here's one thing that many users do care about: using a phone that feels fast and clean. Both of these have a lock on the former, but OnePlus utterly owns the cleanliness bit. Samsung phones come with so much overhead, from duplicate apps to a whole other ecosystem for backing up your phone. Some of it is handy, but a lot of it is already taken care of by Android. OnePlus very smartly recognizes that and only makes changes where it thinks it can make improvements. With the exception of Google's Pixel line, the OnePlus 6 is my favorite Android to use from a software standpoint. It is light and fast and minimal in a way that no Samsung phone has ever been. And while OnePlus has yet to prove its commitment to its latest promises regarding software updates, those promises at least show that the company is thinking seriously about them. Samsung has not historically been terribly speedy in that regard, though that can always change. And speaking of speed, I'll close on that point. The OnePlus 6 charges more rapidly than almost any phone out there. You really can plug it in for 35 minutes and get a 65% charge from zero. There are other differences, the ringer switch on the OnePlus, the iris scanner on the Note, but I think we've covered the major stuff. So at the end of all this, what new knowledge have we gained? Well, if you're a smartphone nerd like me, not much. But if you're a normal person, I imagine it might be quite a surprise to learn just how narrow the gulf is between a $1,000 phone and one that costs $530. And look, I'll repeat it for anyone who wasn't paying attention at the top. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't buy a Galaxy Note 9 if you really want all possible features. I love that phone. But before you do pull the trigger on such a massive purchase, you owe it to yourself to check out alternatives like the OnePlus 6, and also the phones I'll mention after the break. Because break is a thing you can do to glass phones, and both of these devices are made of that scratchable substance. So it's good news they're also both compatible with the best vinyl skins in the business. You know the name, dbrand. You know the reputation, and it's well earned. Visit the sponsor link in the description for Galaxy Note 9 and OnePlus 6 skins from marble to carbon fiber and beyond. dbrand is a great way to protect your purchase with style, and I thank them for sponsoring this video.
The Motorola Moto G, the Honor 10, the Honor 9, the Nokia 7, the Nokia 6. You could even buy one of last year's Pixel 2s. And once the Pixel 3 comes out, it brings the price down. Yeah, I looked at my notes. What of it? Say hi, Justice.
Hi, Justice.
You jerk. And yes, I can hear you screaming it all the way from New Delhi, where it was launched. The Pocophone F1, of course. Everyone's new favorite budget phone darling. As soon as I get a hold of one of those, I'll take a look, let you know what I think. Make sure you're subscribed to the MrMobile on YouTube so you don't miss it, folks. Most importantly, thanks for watching. And as always, stay mobile, my friends.